Hi, everybody. It's your friendly American teacher, Lydia, and I'm here with you today on this Friday to talk to you about vocabulary. Okay, we're still waiting for some people to join us, but I just want to point out that I'm sporting a messy bun today, and sporting in this case is a verb. To sport is to show something or to use something a certain way, usually in the way that you wear it. So it's like to wear something. I'm sporting a messy bun. I hope you guys like it. The height of fashion. So I've had so much fun with you guys on the live classes. Like, I can't believe it. I mean, I was kind of nervous about it, to be honest. I've done a couple live classes when we used to do them on Facebook. And I've done, the SEDA College Online courses, and that's always really fun. But interacting with you guys in the live classes is great. It's great to get to know you. I love seeing your questions come up. So please always type, whatever you feel, whatever questions you have, whatever you're thinking about. You can add something funny. You can add what you're doing. Yesterday, Mitzi was talking about how her husband was cooking dinner. Hey, Mitzi. I hope your dinner was delicious, and tell your husband I say hello, and he's a wonderful guy. So whatever you're doing, whatever you're up to, let us know, and type us a little comment, because that lets me know how many people are watching too, and I like to know, what's going on and how many viewers we have and what's the story, as we say in Dublin. So I'm your teacher, Lydia, coming to you live from Dublin, and I cannot wait to get into some vocabulary with you guys, because we've been doing a lot of grammar, which is fantastic. We did the prepositions, and I think prepositions are super hard. I got some, now we're going to kind of get into some other things like vocabulary, and in this case, prefixes. So I assume that we've got like a few people here now, so I'm going to get started with that, okay? Just checking the time, because I always like to give a couple of minutes for you guys to log in and join up. So today's advanced live class is vocabulary focused, and we're talking about negative prefixes. So you can see my little mouse here, guys, and I'm kind of just going to indicate and point to different things with you. I'm trying to get more technologically savvy. So what is a prefix? I always like to start with definitions. I think you guys are seeing my pattern. Get back to basics. And what is a prefix? Well, prefix, the word, has a prefix in it. So let's take a look at what a prefix is. How do we pronounce it? Prefix. 2 syllables. Prefix. Learn to pronounce. Well, we're learning to pronounce together. Prefix. It's a noun because it's a thing, right? It's a word. And it's a word, letter, or number placed before another one. Okay? I still can't tell which is left or right here, but so basically you have, I'm just going to do it in my orientation. So you have, your root word or your basic word would be usually an adjective. And then this one goes, the prefix goes before it to change the meaning, okay? So here's an example sentence. The institute was granted the prefix Royal in 1961. So you could say the Royal Institute in that case. And I got this off of Google, so thank you, Google. Thank you for the definition and the example sentence. Another example I would give would be a person who is knighted by the queen. When the queen takes the sword and she goes, I dub you Sir Paul McCartney. Sir is a prefix, kind of. It goes before, it tells you something. It's not negative, though. Okay. All right. Prefixes, a prefix can also be a verb. So to add something at the beginning as a prefix or introduction. In very similar meaning. So if you're reading a book and in the beginning of the book, there's a section called the preface, or some people say preface, but it's not, it's preface. That is prefixed to the book. That is something that is attached in the beginning of the book, before. So pre means before most of the time, okay? So if I say pre-drinking, pre going to a party, You're drinking before you're going out to the party. What else can you say? Prepare, right? You're getting ready before you do something. Pre is always going to mean before. When you see pre, it's going to mean something that comes before. So it makes sense that these are negative prefixes, negative parts that come before an adjective, in this case, that make that adjective negative or opposite. So let's keep exploring. Next we have, well, the first prefix I want to introduce to you is im. Im. I am. Im. Now this one's really important because a lot of times people try to make something negative and they say in, I-N all the time. And sometimes that's correct, but I am also makes something negative. So in this case, when we take im and we can combine it with the following adjectives. So perfect, perfect, 2 syllables again, perfect. It's not fact. Usually it's fict. Perfect. Possible. 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 Personal. 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 Patient. Patient. So this is not patient. If you read a lot, if you do a lot of videos and you read a lot and maybe you don't practice your English live one-to-one with native speakers, a lot of times you might think that this is pronounced patient, but it's not. It's patient. Patient. And this word has 2 meanings. So the adjective patient is like to have patience, to be able to wait for something and not get frustrated. You have to have patience when you're in the waiting room at the doctor's office. And then patient can also mean the person who is being looked at by the doctor, who's being examined by the doctor. So the opposite of doctor is patient, and the opposite of is patient. Impatient. So I just gave you one there. Probable, probable, probable. That's 3 syllables again. Probable. So what is it like when we combine these together? Take a minute, guys. I'm going to give you some music again. Put these together. Maybe put them into a comment for me. Or you take one and use it in a sentence for me, okay? I gave you an example there, but you can use it in a sentence any way that you wish. You can use any of them. Maybe you want to express something you're feeling, something you think, an opinion. And I'm just going to repeat the pronunciations again because I think that helps everybody. I'll say everything. Can be combined. Combined. It looks like that would be 3 syllables, but it's not really. It's combined. Put together with the following adjectives. Adjectives. 3 syllables there. Perfect. Perfect. To me, you are perfect. Possible. Possible. Personal. Personal. Patient. Patient. Probable. Probable. Okay, so I hope everybody's typed a little comment here. I'm going to take a look and see. Okay. All right. Nice. Okay. All right, so now we'll go on and see what they look like when they're combined. And I'm doing a little animation with this slide for you guys. First one, imperfect. Imperfect. This, sometimes people say imperfect with an N. Don't do that. Please don't do that. And even native speakers do it sometimes. So don't always trust native speakers because they have a lot of errors that they make, what we call fossilized errors. They're stuck in place. They can't change. Maybe from childhood or from their family or people around them where they heard these things spoken incorrectly. So don't always trust them, okay? Trust the grammar. Trust the dictionary. Trust your teacher because I'm here to give you the best information that I have. Okay? So imperfect. Everybody is imperfect, and that is okay. That is great. Our imperfections are what make us unique and special. And thank you for joining me here. And I'm happy to be with you. All right, so next. Impossible. Impossible. Might look at the situation and say, this is impossible. But as my mother always says, where there's a will, where there's a want. Where there's a will, there's a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. You can always find a solution. All right. Impersonal. Impersonal. If you're in a relationship and you have to break up with somebody, usually you want to do it face to face, unless you cannot leave your house. But usually you want to do it face to face, because otherwise it's incredibly impersonal. If you text message break up, that's such a big no-no. Oh my God, that's horrible. Don't ever text message break up with anybody. That's such a mean, nasty thing to do. It's impersonal. It makes them feel like they don't matter to you. They're just nothing. And you might need to break up with somebody and it's not working out, but that doesn't mean you need to be mean. All right. Immobile. Immobile. So I added that one in there. Mobile means to be able to move, right? So if you're immobile, you cannot move. Somebody who is in a wheelchair is immobile without the wheelchair. It's very important to them for accessibility. Impatient. Impatient. And I put this one in a different color because that's another one that a lot of times people say in. They say inpatient. Inpatient. That's not correct unless you're in a hospital. Sometimes they have a part of the hospital where, you know, people can walk in, so it's inpatient care or walk-in. But impatient is the correct way to say the opposite of patient, when somebody has no patience and they just cannot wait for anything. They're impatient. Improbable. Improbable. So your brother might say, or your sister might say, maybe we should ask mom for 20 euros or $20 to go to the cinema. And then your sister or brother might say, it's improbable that she will give us the money. Not going to happen. Okay. So take a second, guys, to use these in a sentence. We're definitely going to do it now. Take one of these and use it in a sentence. I'm going to sit here and wait because I know you're all super smart. And I want to see what you can come up with. So, looking here. Oh, didn't mean to do that. I'm going to look at the other window and check what you're doing. See. Awesome. That's great. I love everybody's progress is incredible, guys. I'm so, so proud of you. Online learning can seem like impersonal sometimes, but it's actually really fun and intimate when you know some of the people in the class and when people are participating. So guys, please get involved and participate with me. I'm really excited to be here with you and to use my new little keyboard and get to know you a little bit better. Okay, cool. So I hope everybody's made a sentence. Let's move on. The next prefix we're talking about is ill. Ill. So we're pronouncing that just like ill, I-L-L, when you're sick. All right. So ill can be combined with the following adjectives. Literate, 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 that's 3 syllables. Legible, again 3 syllables. Legible, and logical, logical, and legitimate, legitimate. So what does literate mean? Literate means the ability to read and write. Legible, what is legible? Well, legible is like when you're reading something or you're trying to read something, and if it is possible to read and understand it, it is legible. So I could say that my notes are legible to me. I don't know if they're legible to you, but they are definitely legible to me. Logical. Logical. That means something makes sense, it's understandable, and it's like structured or organized. And legitimate means something is correct or right or warranted in a situation, done the right way. So you could say somebody, if somebody buys something and there's no like receipt and there's no proof that they bought it, people could say it's not legitimate. They can say not legitimate, but they can also add ill and say illegitimate because there's no proof. Okay? There's no proof of the sale that it was done correctly. So legitimate is a really good word to know. I'm just going to go back for a second because I want to go over perfect, possible, personal, patient, probable. I think the only one there that maybe people wouldn't know would be probable. And probable is something probably will happen, that it's possible for it to happen. Possible and probable are super close, guys. So possible means like you can do it. Probable is like whether or not it will happen. Okay? So that's the little distinction there. I'm going to go forward again. So we have, I gave you illegitimate. Take the other ones, guys, and maybe choose one of the three, either literate, legible, or logical, and write a sentence with it. Okay? I'm going to give you a second to write a sentence. I'm going to check the time. All right. You have a few seconds to write a sentence for me. Tell me what you think. Like a sentence with either literate, legible, or logical, using the prefix ill to make it negative or opposite. All right, we'll get that music back on. Somebody liked my singing the other day. I'm not going to do it again unless you want me to. There was also a question of what was the name of the song that I was singing on Wednesday. And it's called Hooked on a Feeling. And I'm going to, I think the band is Boston, like my city. But let me see. I'll double check. Hooked on a Feeling. Oh, I think it's by Blue Swede. Yeah, Blue Swede, Hooked on a Feeling. Great song from the 1970s. You will also see that song featured in the film Guardians of the Galaxy. So if you like that film, check it out. All right, so I think everyone's had enough time to write a sentence. I hope they have. So I'm just going to check here, see what you guys have done. Awesome. Superstars. We have the best online community of learners, and guys, I'm so happy to be here with you. All right, let's go next and see what they look like when they're combined. And I'm sure you did a great job. Remember, when we add a prefix, we don't take anything away from the original word. We're just sliding it in there. And pretty much the same thing with suffixes, but not always, so I'm not going to talk about that right now. I'm going to have a separate class on suffixes, our next class Monday. We're going to talk about suffixes, and they go at the end of words. But prefixes, you never really change the beginning of the word. Leave it the same, just add the prefix, so IL. So illiterate, as you can see here, literate is exactly the same as it was before, but now we're just adding ill. Illiterate. 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 It may surprise you to know that 50% of people in the state of Mississippi in the United States are illiterate, or were illiterate when I checked that statistic. I forget when I checked that. But yeah, 50%. So 50% of people cannot read and write. That's kind of sad. Their politicians are failing them there. Illegible, illegible, illegible. Not able to be read. So, like, again, I'm going to use doctors again. Doctors are amazing. Don't get me wrong. I love doctors, okay? But everybody knows doctors have horrible handwriting because they have to write out so many prescriptions, like, all the time. So, a lot of times only to another medical professional are those prescriptions, like to a pharmacist, legible. To the general public, doctor's handwriting is illegible. Okay. Logical, logical, illogical. So you could say, I have a friend who's totally illogical. Love this guy so much, but nothing that he says makes any actual sense or has any real, like, structure or organization. It's just like, wow. Legitimate, legitimate. The opposite would be illegitimate. So you could say the sale of the car was deemed illegitimate and the customer could not get their money back because they did not have proof of receipt. They didn't have a receipt to prove that they bought the car for what price they bought it. All right, could have been stolen. Prefix ear, ear. All right, so ear can, again, it's just like an ear on your head, under my funky bun, my ear, with my earring. Prefix ear can be combined with the following adjectives, okay? Relevant, which means, like, necessary to the situation or connected to the situation. Responsible, I think everybody knows responsible, right? Or advanced level. Rational, again, rational is a lot like logical. I really have trouble explaining the difference between rational and logical. They're very similar. Regular, normal, usual, typical. Resistible, possible to resist. So you could say that food is disgusting. It's very resistible. So those are the ones we have to start with. Again, take a shot, take a moment to combine them, maybe in your notebook. I didn't remind you this time to make sure you have a notebook. Make sure you're taking notes. I'm going to write those things down and put them together. Combine the prefix with the adjective, okay? And guys, if you can think of some other words that you know start with ear, the prefix ear, IR, put them in the comments. Like, I'd love to know what else you guys can remember, anything else that pops into your head, because you probably use this stuff all the time and read it all the time, but just forget to break down the pieces or the parts of the word. So take a look. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out. So next we're going to explore what they look like when they are together. All right. When combined. Now I have a big warning here, and I put it in yellow so I could remember to tell you that, and this is something that people from where I'm from, Massachusetts, Boston, Cape Cod, places I'm from, they do this all the time, and it drives me insane. I've heard it here in Dublin too. I think some people got it in their head that the word irregardless exists, but it's not a legitimate word. And I will tell you that even when I typed it in to this slide, it got the little red squiggly line underneath. The red squiggly that says, not a word. Bad spelling, doesn't exist, okay? Irregardless is not a word. Regardless is enough. So regardless means do not give regard, do not recognize. Not recognized in that situation. You could say, well, maybe we have a tent or something, but that's not relevant because regardless, we are going to have a picnic. I can't stand this anymore. Okay, so regardless is the word. Irregardless is not a word. When you hear people say it, you're going to cringe and feel uncomfortable like I do, but I just want you to know so you don't say it yourself. Okay? Thank you. Thank you for listening. Okay. So, prefix ear, the opposite or negative meaning when we combine it with those words we saw before, the adjectives. we get irresistible. Impossible to resist. You cannot resist. So I find chocolate almost irresistible. It's very difficult for me to resist chocolate. Irrelevant. It's not relevant, it's not necessary or connected to the situation. So a lot of times when you see like a TV show or a courtroom drama or a movie and the lawyer says, I object, and blah, 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 and, blah, blah, blah is irrelevant to the point. And hopefully the judge makes a good decision and they say sustained, which is like they accept that objection, or denied. All right. Then we have regular and irregular. Irregular, that's outside the normal. So we all know that English has a lot of irregular verbs. Thanks, English. Awesome. Woo! Rational, logical. The opposite, irrational. So irrational behavior makes people difficult to be around. Responsible. We always talk about parents and how parents should not be irresponsible, but everybody has responsibilities. So you know when it's okay to have fun and be silly or do whatever, and when you need to be responsible. Don't mix those times up. Don't be irresponsible. Okay? Guys, you're doing awesome. Woo, 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 woo. I'm so proud of you. You're doing so great. Let's go on to the last and final prefix. Oh, crap. Excuse my language. Oh, poo. We did all of them already. Let me go back then. Let's review. We're going to review. So the first one we had was im, prefix im. All right. Then we had all these guys here: imperfect, impossible, impersonal, immobile, impatient, improbable. Then we had ill, illiterate, illegitimate, illogical, illegible. All right. And we have, 3. Irrelevant, irresponsible, irrational, irregular, irresistible. And then real life situation. So, my favorite couple, my favorite clip art couple. The guy says to the woman, you may be imperfect, but you are perfect to me. Well, I find you irresistible. So, they really are in love, and they're using negative prefixes to express that. So guys, you have negative prefixes everywhere in life. Start to notice them. Maybe jot down a few more in a comment for us. Review your notes, practice all the time, and remember never to say irregardless or imperfect or impatient, okay? You got this, guys. You're doing awesome. Thank you for being here with us again at SEDA College online for this live class. And don't forget to check out our other classes and subscribe if you can. You can get great yearly subscriptions with us for a very reasonable price. And you have our podcast to check out. So thank you so much for these live classes. I can't wait to see you again soon on Monday. Relax over the weekend. Do what you can. And I will be coming to you with suffixes on Monday. Okay? Thanks so much, guys. Have a great day.